Here we go. All right, David Benavidez. He took on Gilberto Ramirez. Remember, David Benavidez was and still is for now, the world light heavyweight champion, and he moved up into the cruiserweight division to challenge Gilberto Ramirez. And, I went back and forth when it was first announced. I thought Ramirez was too big for him. Then as I was doing some other research deeper into the previous fights and how, what the sizes were, I said to myself, you know what? He's not. You heard me pick David Benavidez last week. When the bell rung, I was saying to myself, man, Ramirez does look way bigger than Benavidez, and he did. But what a beating that David Benavidez put on Gilberto Ramirez. Basically, he did not answer. The fight was officially counted out at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of the sixth round. It was a career performance for David Benavidez. Make no mistake, I know that David Benavidez has tons and tons of fans, and I love him too. But let's be real, boys and girls. I mean, one of my knocks on David Benavidez was he never moved. He plodded forward and he went in and drew punches. This version of David Benavidez, and everybody was acting like that's the way he fights all the time. Unless I'm wrong, and this could very well be, the hand speed of him against Ramirez, just it was kicked up a notch or two. I mean, and he was just real accurate. He seemed very dominant in there mentally. And, I've seen him, like the fight against David Morrell. I mean, let's be real. He didn't dominate David Morrell, So anyway, hats off to David Benavidez. He's now a 3-division world champion, 32-0 with 26 knockouts. Ramirez only loses for the second time in his career. And remember, the first time was against Dimitri Bivol. He's now 48-2 with 30 knockouts, losing his belts as well. So the big question, and one of my main topics today, is, who does he fight next? Who does David Benavidez fight next, right? Benavidez, listen, let me just give you my opinion a little deeper on the performance. Did he look fantastic? Yes, he did. Did he display really ring generalship, hand speed? He avoided some punches. I mean, he was in shape. It was, to me, it was his career best performance. Okay. But let's take a look at Ramirez. And I am not knocking David Benavidez at all, but I'm trying to put it in perspective, because all of a sudden the word on the curb is like he's the best thing aside from Moses Atuma, and that's a joke because everybody acts like he's the greatest heavyweight ever. David Benavidez is now being considered the face of boxing and all this. Listen, here's what I think. I think that he had the perfect opponent in front of him. Gilberto Ramirez is not a fleet of foot guy. He just isn't. And, he maxed out his level that he's reached. He reached before this fight. I believe David Benavidez is continuing to improve. That's why I picked him against Ramirez. I did not think that Ramirez has been looking, consistently better, and he's not looking better after each fight. He's kind of been stuck, and no disrespect to him and the people he's beaten. But I think that David Benavidez was in there with the right guy. I mean, I mentioned earlier with his fight against Morrell. Morrell is a boxer. Morrell moved. And he had footwork, and he kind of made Benavidez look stupid. Benavidez was not able to display any hand speed. He was not able to display his ability to cut off the ring and really control the fight. He did not against David Morrell. And I think that he would continue to have problems against fighters that have a high boxing, or they're boxers. They can move. When you look at what he can do next, I know that he made some comments right after the fight because, of course, Jai Opetaia is the guy that is calling him out and, in my opinion, the guy that he should fight. Well, David Benavidez made a comment. He said, I think that would be a great fight to make in the future. I respect Jai Opetaia a lot. He's a great fighter, and I think he's come back. I think if he comes back over here and makes these fights happen, because we can't make no fights in Zuffa. I think Dana White has showed that he doesn't want to do fights with PBC or DAZN. I don't want to sound like I'm disrespecting Dana White, but that's just what it looks like from the outside. If we could come to an agreement and make a big fight, let's do it. Many other people are saying the same thing, including a guy that I was kind of surprised that said it. But Timothy Bradley came out and said that he felt that Opetaia is not on Benavidez's level and that the Mexican monster would handle him easily. And more people are saying that too. You know what I say? Bullshit. Bullshit. There's no way. Listen, I just told you that I think that Jai Opetaia, that David Benavidez had problem with David Ramirez because of the movement and the boxing ability. Well, has anybody watched Jai Opetaia fight? Jai Opetaia's biggest problem is that he tries to get in there and not utilize it. His biggest mistake would be to try to go toe-to-toe with David Benavidez. But if he's got half a brain, he wouldn't. And David Benavidez, it's not an easy fight for David Benavidez. But let's take a look. David Benavidez is saying, oh, well, no Zuffa, no Zuffa, no Zuffa. Well, listen, Zuffa works with other promoters, but he'll never make the money with the shit PBC that he could make with Zuffa Boxing or whoever promotes the fight against Jai Opetaia. As far as DAZN, hey, listen, you know, it's not like Dana White didn't want DAZN. He got big bucks with Paramount. He signed Sky Sports in the UK because the other promoters in the UK bailed on Sky and went with DAZN. So, I mean, come on, business is business. But if Jai Opetaia is not the guy for David Benavidez, who is? You know, well, let's take a look because I'm not so sure anyone is. When you look at Jai Opetaia, yes, he was stripped of the IBF belt, but he's still ranked in the IBF at number 4. He's ranked in the WBA at number 1, and he's ranked at the WBC at number 3. Yes, he's the cruiserweight world champion for Zuffa Boxing, but he's the guy. Anybody that watches boxing, especially in the cruiserweight division, knows that Jai Opetaia was the top guy before the Ramirez-Benavidez fight. So come on, just because Benavidez beat a guy that was ducking Jai Opetaia for 2 years, you know, doesn't mean he's better than him. The other option's Ryan Rizicki, but Ryan Rizicki, he's scheduled to fight June 6th against Chris Billiam-Smith. And then another guy, the WBC champ, Noel McKillian. I mean, yeah, you know, that would be a fight for a belt, another belt. But here's the thing. We got to talk money now. All right. You know, I'm saying, okay, these fights are good. But the truth of the matter is let's talk money. Now, if David Benavidez is so close-minded and stupid not to listen to any kind of an offer from Jai Opetaia, who, remember, is being promoted by Zuffa Boxing, and who backs Zuffa Boxing? Well, nobody needs to back Zuffa Boxing. He's a gazillionaire. But the other gazillionaire, Turki Al-Rashid, you know, it would be involved with them. You know, so, I mean, it's stupid for David Benavidez to say it. What's he going to do? Like Coach is saying in the chat room, the next fight you're going to hear is Ryan Rizicki against Benavidez or Benavidez against Noel McKillian. You know, but there's not going to be enough money. I mean, let's be real. David Benavidez, Jai Opetaia, under a Zuffa banner could net these guys millions each, 10 million each at least, you know, maybe more. You know, they're not going to get that from PBC. They're just not. All right. And, you know, DAZN's model right now, they're pushing for people like me who go the full-blown subscription. So I just don't think it. If he drops back down to light heavyweight, he's got Dimitri Bivol, but Bivol's already signed. Remember, he got injured, so he was put on a shelf. He's already signed to fight 2 fights. So he would have to wait another at least year and a half before he gets in there. Same thing, Beterbiev. That's a good fight. Bivol and Beterbiev could be money fights. He could fight David Morrell. He could even go for a guy like Ben Whitaker. But, the truth of the matter is let's talk money, because money is the backbone. They don't, hey, boys and girls, they don't call it prize fighting for nothing. It's about the money, all right? It's about the money. And, everybody says, I'll fight anybody if I get paid enough. Well, if David Benavidez is closed-minded and he's listening to the idiots that he signed with, and he doesn't at least listen to a financial offer from Zuffa, he's crazy. He's crazy. My prediction, I do think he's going to go with the money, and we'll see what happens. Or the other thing that could take place is kind of a softening of all working together. We started to see it with the co-promotional deal that he signed with Ryan Rizicki. He is Ryan Rizicki. I'm talking about Dana White. Ryan Rizicki is signed to them, but he also has another promoter. So the argument that people are trying to make that Dana White and Zuffa Boxing don't work with other promoters is simply not true. If it makes moolah, and especially if it can boost Zuffa, if it's a co-promotion deal that's not hidden behind the scenes, it could be very lucrative for David Benavidez, and he would be a fool, in my opinion, anyway, if he didn't take it. And